What is up, everybody? Today's video is all about the Boulder Cup and my experience going down in the last week of January to London to participate in a 20-man tournament. Hope you guys enjoy. Now, unfortunately, in my first match, I forgot to screen record. I was so anxious, nervous, excited, just a mix of emotions that I did forget to screen record. So where this video is going to start off is from the second match. So now we're into the second round. The first round I did win, and John the Duck won his first round as well. And the first thing I notice about his team is that he does have a double Skarmory, which is a big threat. But the fact that I have a Magneton makes me believe that he's not actually going to run a double Skarmory. And the second thing I notice is that he doesn't have a counter for Marshtomp. So I'm going to go ahead and lead with a Marshtomp to start this first game off. As we start the match, we see that he does have a Marshtomp as well. So my goal for this fight is to try to burn his shields, and I'm also going to be going for Surfs, where if he doesn't shield it, he's actually going to take a lot of damage. Just like this first hit, he doesn't shield that. So right now I'm on the win trade. I get a second Surf off, and I notice that he doesn't have Mud Shot. He has Water Gun. So I will actually be able to get off more Surfs than he can, but he will do more damage off of normal taps than I will to him. But I think having the Surf advantage is actually going to be a lot better. So he does shield that. Now he's out of shields completely, which is perfect. But I do want to keep my Marshtomp, so I burn all my shields here because I do have the advantage. I throw out this Mud Bomb here to quickly kill him off instead of waiting for that Surf. And this is where I made my first mistake. Right here, I should have just used Surf on Skarmory, but instead I decided to switch to Skarmory because my thought process was to swap Marshtomp back in later while having a Surf up if I needed him. So right now we're just in the classic Skarmory face-off of Air Slash and Sky Attack over and over to see who wins with no shields. Now his Skarmory does beat mine because of the fact that I swapped into it, but while he had a Sky Attack ready to go, my Marshtomp is able to get that Surf, but it's not able to do enough damage to Metachan. And I think in hindsight, if I would have used Marshtomp's Surf, my Skarmory could have beat his, and then my Skarmory would have been able to do a lot of damage to his Metachan. Now we're in a Metachan fight, and I decided to go for Ice Punches instead of Dynamic Punches, which was my second mistake, as I should have gone for the Dynamic Punches, and I might have actually won. So he gets his Dynamic Punch off, and I survive, and I'm able to get this final Dynamic Punch off. But sadly, it's not enough to finish him off, and the game ends with one tap difference, which is crazy. So well played, John the Duck. Now my mindset going into this next one was to go with the same team because I know my team can beat his if I play it correctly. So I'm guessing he's going with the Mirror again. So I'm just going to keep doing what I did last time, but try to not to make the same mistake. So he doesn't shield there. I shield this next one because I want to stop his Surfs from doing damage to me. So he got me down one shield, but now he's going to have to burn a shield or he's going to be out. So he does burn a shield. I might be able to get this next Surf off before he does. That isn't the case this time, so I end up burning both my shields. And now I use my Surf, hoping that it knocks him out, but he decides to burn his shield. I do get the mud bomb off before he does, but in this instance, I'm not going to be able to get enough damage to do a surf like I did in the first match, which now means I'm behind. We're actually pretty much dead even right here, and the fact that he's getting his sky attacks before I'm getting mine isn't going to add up well for me. So just another, Boulder Cup classic that I'm sure a lot of you guys faced was Skarmory on Skarmory, just spamming those sky attacks. Now this last sky attack, I'm really hoping it doesn't kill me, but he does finish me off, and now this is where it really hurts, is his Skarmory is still in. This is what I was hoping I was going to be able to do, was take out his Skarmory fast enough so that my Skarmory can do that damage to Metachan, and now I have to go for the dynamic punches to try to finish this Metachan off, but it's just not going to be enough. He's already well ahead of me. We both have no shields, so one more dynamic punch from him, and I'm done. He does actually decide to go for the ice punch here, I believe. He does go for the ice punch to finish me off. So it was a really close fight. Well done by John the Duck for taking advantage of the mistakes that I made in this mirror match. Now going into this next match versus Felipe Dezu. Now my thought process with what Pokemon I was going to start with was that he's not going to lead with a Magnemite because having a Magneton on my team, I wouldn't lead with that because it's way too vulnerable to Marshtomp, and it's way too vulnerable to the fighting Pokemon. So I decided to lead with Skarmory, and he leads with Marshtomp. Now this trade-off, typically Marshtomp will win because it will be able to get Surfs off more than I can get Sky attacks. But he does get this last Surf off, so instead of allowing him to finish me off, I just shielded. So I did manage to take out his Marshtomp, but he does bring in a Skarmory, and the two Pokemon that I have left are going to be weak to Skarmory, so this is definitely not looking good for me. Right now I'm down to no shields, and he's taken out my Skarmory. And this is a really bad place to be. He has 2 shields, and he has Skarmory out versus 2 Pokemon that I have that are going to be super effective, that Skarmory is going to do super effective damage to. So there goes my Metachan. And my Torterra. Poor Torterra, this was the first time I tried him out just to see, because I did think that him having a Marshtomp and a Whiscash, he might go with both, and Torterra would be able to do some work, but I got absolutely destroyed right there. So something to learn, that people may have Pokemon on their team, but they're going to go for the meta. They're going to go for what's best. And in this case, it's Marshtomp, Skarmory, Metachan. So what I decided to do is put Metachan back in, and take Torterra out in place for Marshtomp and lead with Skarmory again to see how this matchup will go. Now we do have a Skarmory on Skarmory fight, so it's all a matter of who uses their shields and when. Now you see right there, because of where I was tapping on my screen when Skarmory actually died and it brought up a new Pokemon, it actually brought in Metachan on accident. Now I had thought at this time that I had transferred into Metachan and still had Skarmory alive, which isn't the case, and he's actually able to burn both my shields right here to keep my Metachan alive, where if I had taken a second to realize that my Skarmory is dead and then swap into Marshtomp, I would have actually won this trade and been very well off versus this Metachan. Things that I learned from that fight was taking a second to breathe and tap higher on the screen, knowing that my Pokemon is about to die so that I don't accidentally click on a Pokemon that I don't want to. Now so far the night isn't going very well for me. I am 1 for 2 with one of my losses being very close, and the second one I got really destroyed by making bad decisions, but I turn it around with these next fights. So in this case I'm fighting LDN Pirate. Still decided to go with the same lineup of Marshtomp, Skarmory, Metachan. And yes, I did take the jacket off because things are getting serious here. Now I do decide to lead with Skarmory because the only counter he has is a Macargo. And he does lead with Skarmory as well. So we're just into the Skarmory on Skarmory fight. Classic. Now it comes down to the wire right here because we both used our sky attacks and I got mine up first, which actually finishes off his Skarmory where I was in a losing battle there. He does bring in Macargo, which means I'm automatically going to bring in Marshtomp. And I took my time there deciding who I was going to bring in. He brings in Whiscash, but Whiscash is actually going to lose in a trade to Marshtomp as well because I can Surf Spam while he Mud Bomb spams. So I won't be taking as much damage as he does from my Surf. As you can see, I just need to do one more, so I'm going to try to go for the Mud Bomb. But he actually gets the Mud Bomb off first, but it's not enough to take me out. I do tap on the Surf just to make sure that Whiscash does go down. And now that I see that it's a Macargo, I have Metachan left, who will be able to handle Macargo very well. And I get this dynamic punch off, and that is a wrap. So round one, I think I did play a lot better there than I did in the previous rounds. I did end up winning the round going 2-0 against him, so I'm feeling really good now that I've won 2 matches, so I'm 2-2 on the night and with some close battles, and I've learned my mistakes. So going into the final round of the night, I decided to lead off with Skarmory, and he has Whiscash. So I'm going to go ahead and leave Skarmory in versus this Whiscash, but he does swap it out for his Alolan Sandslash, so I'm instantly going to swap into Marshtomp. And because Sandslash is weak to ground-type moves, I'm going to be Mud Bomb spamming. I do burn his first shield, which is good, and before I can get the second Mud Bomb off, he does get off a Blizzard, so I'm going to go ahead and shield that. And get off this last Mud Bomb, where if he doesn't shield it, he will get knocked out. So there we go, he didn't shield it, and Alolan Sandslash is gone. So the next Pokemon to come in is going to be this Whiscash, and I'm going to keep Marshtomp in. I'm just going to keep Surf spamming to try to burn shields and get his Whiscash down as fast as I can. We do get 2 Surfs off in a row, which is good. This is going to burn his last shield. And I'm going to hold off on using a shield here versus his Blizzard, which in hindsight I should have blocked, but I thought it was going to be a Mud Bomb. Now it instantly switched into Skarmory with a Sky Attack to nearly finish off this Whiscash. And now it's just his final Pokemon, which is going to be another Skarmory. So we are in the classic fight of Skarmory versus Skarmory. Yay. Now having a Skarmory for this tournament was necessary in order to be competitive, but I hope in future cups that we can have more diverse Pokemon so it's not always just 2 Pokemon against each other every time. So I do get this last Sky Attack off, and that is round 1. So he didn't get to my 3rd Pokemon, which made me feel really good because that's what happened to me earlier, and it's very demoralizing when that happens. So this next fight, I decide to just swap it around. I decide to lead with Marshtomp instead to change things up, to keep him on his toes, knowing that he doesn't have anything besides a Breloom that can beat my Marshtomp. But if he does lead with Breloom, I can swap into Skarmory. So he does start with Skarmory and I lead with Marshtomp. And knowing that my Marshtomp can win this, he swaps into Breloom, which is the mistake because then I just swap into Skarmory. So thankfully I didn't have to learn this mistake, but I got to see it firsthand how devastating it is if you swap a Pokemon out first because you're instantly going to get countered. And now you're on your heels and you're not, doesn't matter how many shields you have, you're not going to make up a full Pokemon coming back in this Boulder Cup. So now we are just on a Skarmory fight. I'm going to keep spamming those Sky Attacks. If he does decide to shield both of them, which he just did, I'm just going to swap back into Marshtomp to finish him off with Surfs. But I do get this last Sky Attack off, which is going to be just enough to take him down to the point where my Marshtomp can come in and do some work. And I ended up getting a very last minute sky attack to get him so low that it didn't even matter who I brought in. It was going to beat this Skarmory. So I come in, spam the Mud Bomb, get the kill to see what his last Pokemon is, and it is Whiscash. So now we just go back into Surf spam. I'm really happy that I decided to go with Marshtomp for this tournament over a Whiscash because he performed a lot better when it came to neutral matchups because he did have access to Surf while still having access to Mud Bomb. And right here, he uses Mud Bomb to finish me off, so I know when I'm bringing this Metachan, I don't have to worry about a Blizzard because he won't have time to charge one up. So this Mud Bomb coming in isn't going to do a lot of damage to me. I'm just going to get off this final Ice Punch to finish off the round. All in all, this was a great tournament. I had a lot of fun. The group was really nice, really friendly. So shout out to the London crew for hosting it. Now, as you guys saw, I did all right. 3-2, I think, is a good outcome for my first tournament that I've ever been a part of, and it was also down in London on the last weekend of January for the Boulder Cup, so everyone that was there was obviously very well prepared, and the games were down to the wire. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.